so excited right now. I got Mr. Speech Thomas right here, right now.
Yeah.
I'm here on behalf of the Milwaukee Community Journal. Right here, we're at the pre-game, at the pre-party for the 16 bars that's coming out tonight, having a screening at the Milwaukee Film Festival. Hey, it's going down. Listen, I want him to explain to you exactly who he is and what's going on right now. Let him know who you are.
Yeah, my name is Speech. From the group Arrested Development. We've won 2 Grammys. We've won 2 MTV Awards, Soul Train Awards, NAACP Awards. We've toured all around the world. We've sold over 4 million albums. And actually, I'm born and raised right here in Milwaukee. And so I'm back home to premiere my first ever documentary where it's called 16 Bars. And I went into a jail in Richmond, Virginia to make music with inmates. And man, it changed my life, watching their lives, getting to know these guys, and the music that they've done. And it's just so powerful. And I'm excited for people to see it tonight.
Absolutely, I'm excited. Just like I said, I told you before we, did this, prepping for it. I was watching the trailers and I'm like, man, where did that idea come from?
You know what? CNN had a special where at this particular jail, they were allowed to have a daddy-daughter dance.
Mm-hmm.
And me and my manager saw that. We was moved by it. My manager especially was moved by it. And he said, hey, the fact that they're allowing these inmates to bring their daughters into the prison and have a dance, that's not usual. Like, that doesn't happen.
Right.
So we was like, maybe he would be open, the same sheriff would be open to us going in. So my manager started calling, and we talked to them for 2 years to work out all the red tape, try to get through all of the hardships. And finally it happened, and we got a credible film crew. We went in and just started working, and we didn't know what to expect. You know what I mean? So you could go into a prison and you could get people that are whack. You know what I'm saying? They could be musicless. They can't carry a note. We were blessed. You're gonna see, when you see the film, the amount of talent.
That's just sitting behind those bars. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Sitting in those cells, and that's why I think like what you're doing and what you did was just so epic. You know what I mean? It was so epic and so necessary too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I didn't even realize it, how necessary it was until after we did it. So I'm glad you see it.
Yeah. Tell me, like, I know you mentioned that it took 2 years for you to be able to get this project.
Even started.
Right. Through those 2 years, what was the hardest part?
Well, honestly, it was trying to find out, number one, when we all could do it. Because I tour a lot. Of course, the fact of having a studio inside of a prison is not the thing. That doesn't happen. So having a studio, how do you get the equipment in there? Who's going to donate the equipment? You can't use tax dollars for this. You know what I mean? So you have to try to find a way for people to give from their heart. So we donated Pro Tools, which is the thing that we use to record. Mics were donated, kungas, you name it, all types of various things. And then also just finding out the rights. Well, when we do a documentary, who's going to get paid from this? I didn't want to get paid from it, but can we even make it benefit the inmates? Because if they do something while they're in prison, they're not supposed to make money from anything. So there's a lot of laws that have to be sort of worked out, and so it was very complex.
I can imagine. I can imagine, because we already know the system alone is complex. You know what I'm saying?
The system is meant to be complex, and especially for us, it's meant to lean towards getting us in these prison cells, and it's really, really sad. And you'll see, like, when you see the film tonight, I really am curious what you feel about it when it's over. But most people that have seen the film now, they're just totally moved, and sometimes to tears.
I believe it. I believe it, because it is that epic. It is that big of a deal.
It is.
And I'm like I said, I'm blessed to have the opportunity to be here. Especially, I can't wait to write this article, because you deserve that respect. You know what I'm saying? And I know you didn't do it alone. It was a whole team that worked with you to get everything done. Shout out to them as well. You know what I'm saying? But it was necessary. It was necessary.
Thank you. Well, I appreciate it. Honestly, I think it was God, because I wouldn't have thought of doing this 3 years ago. But 2 years ago, when this opportunity came up, it just made sense. And for me, I was a little nervous going into a prison for 10 days. I went for 10 days, and even spent the night. So I was like, this is not something that I planned for my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And yet, being there with these men, part of this particular program that I was a part of, it was very moving and very impactful.
Yeah. And it's always like, when you're walking in your purpose, when you have moments like that, when you have things that come up that just make sense. It just makes sense for it to happen. You know what I'm saying?
And it's what I've learned, at least, or what I've seen, is some of the things that when you know you're walking in your purpose is when it's a little scary too.
Yep, absolutely.
It's like, it's a little nerve-wracking, like, how is this going to turn out? And that's when God can take over and do what he does. So it was an amazing experience. It really was.
So what is your overall mission that you want to throw out there?
Well, I'm a big mission kind of guy. So my number one mission is always to advance us as a people. That's been my mission since I was pretty young. But for this particular film, there's really three things I would love to do. One is, I would love for people to be able to know that there is a transition house that men are going into, coming out of prison, going into this transition house called the Real House. It's in Virginia. I really want to lift that place up. On my website, brotherspeech.com, you could donate money to that particular place. I say that because these are the people that really helped make this film. And I want to make sure that they come out of this film, on the other side of this film, with more money to do the great work that they're doing. The second thing is, across the nation, here in Milwaukee, there is also transition houses and people that are doing amazing work. And so I want this film to help lift up all of them, to where when people are trying to get back into regular society, they're able to learn certain character issues, job issues, you name it, so that they can be more successful. And then lastly, I want people to realize that we need reform. One of the things that I realized by being in the jail with many of these men, many of them, most of them were in there for nonviolent drug possession offenses. And they don't need to be there. Many of them are users of drugs and nonviolent crime, but users of drugs. They don't need to be in there. Treatment needs to be what these men and women are getting instead of being in prison. So we've got to change the focus from criminalizing drug abusers and getting it to be a health issue where they're being treated. So I think that can help a lot of these families stay together. It can help a lot of these men and women truly change their lives and get back into in their society in the right way.
I said, I thank you. Thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you.
I mean,
thank you for
we
what
couldn't
you're doing.
thank you enough. Thank you so much. I mean, that means a lot coming from somebody like you, definitely, But
thank you for what you're doing because, as you know, Milwaukee Community Journal means the world to me. And since I was a little young person, I'm almost 50. I'll be 50 in 5 days.
Okay.
When I was a young boy, I saw Milwaukee Community Journal doing what it did. But your heart, your passion to be right here and to continue the tradition of, journalism and getting the stories out there so that people can be educated and uplifted, it means everything. So I thank you too.
Thank you so much. Like I said, it's an honor. It's nothing but an honor to be here and to share this moment, honestly.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you guys for tuning in. Y'all make sure to follow us, MCJ, Milwaukee Community Journal. Make sure to follow Speech. Let them know where they can find all the information.
Yeah, go to brotherspeech.com. Everything that I'm doing is right there, brotherspeech.com. That's SPEEC.